We're going to look at forming hypotheses for a hypotheses test. A hypotheses test uses sample statistics to examine a claim about the value of a population parameter, either mu, the population mean, p, the population proportion, or sigma, the population standard deviation. Okay, those are population parameters. Every test has two hypotheses. So when you start a hypothesis test, this is where you always start, is writing your hypotheses. The first hypothesis is called the null hypothesis, H sub 0 or H sub O. Okay, that's the symbol for the null hypothesis. And the null hypothesis will always contain the statement of equality, the equals. So your null hypothesis are going to be hypotheses such as mu equals a number, like mu equals 20, mu equals 13.8. Or it could be P, the population proportion or percentage, equals 0.27, P equals 0.94, etc. Okay, so the null hypothesis, HO, always has the equal sign. The alternative hypothesis, H sub 1, sometimes you'll see a little subscript of an A, H sub A for alternative. That is the hypothesis that will always contain a statement of inequality, meaning a less than, a greater than, or a not equal to sign. So we're going to state the null hypothesis and the alternative hypothesis for each statement. And we're going to identify what the claim would be. Because remember, the idea of hypothesis test is going to be that we're going to use sample statistics such as the sample mean, sample proportion, and sample standard deviation to examine a claim about a population parameter. So that claim is what we need to end up describing in the very last step. Like, what are we going to do with that claim? Are we going to say the claim is a good claim, or are we going to say the claim is not a good claim for them to make? Okay, so number one, a restaurant claims the mean wait time is less than 20 minutes. So when you read this, they're trying to say the mean wait time. So they're trying to claim that mu is less than 20. Well, mu less than 20, that will be the alternative because that has the less than. So that would make your null hypothesis mu equals 20. Okay, so that's how you set up that hypothesis. Okay, the second one, a surgeon claims that more than 90% of his patients say their surgery was a success. So they're claiming more than 90%. So 90% is a proportion, not a mean, but a proportion, so that's a P. So they're claiming that P is greater than, more than, 90%. So they're claiming that P is greater than 0.9, which makes your alternative hypothesis because of the greater than symbol. That's your alternative. And then the null hypothesis will be that P equals 0.9. Okay, so when you're reading through questions, this is what you're going to look for first. What are they claiming? Third one, college claims the mean GPA of their graduates is greater than 2.5. Okay, so I'll give you a second to think about that. If you need to pause the video, go ahead. But I'm going to go ahead and explain it. The mean GPA, so they're trying to claim that mu is greater than 2.5. So that's their alternative hypothesis. So the null hypothesis is mu equals 2.5. Number 4, a secretary claims their boss receives 15 phone calls per day. So 15 phone calls per day, that's an average or a mean. So they're trying to claim that mu is 15. They're not saying less than 15 or greater than 15. They're saying they receive 15 per day. So they're claiming that mu equals 15. So that's your null hypothesis. So the alternative hypothesis to that is that mu does not equal 15. So that one was a little bit different than the other ones. And then finally, a college board claims the majority of students support a ban on smoking. So majority of students would be more than half or more than 50%. So they're trying to claim that the proportion, the population proportion, which is P, is greater than 50%. So they're trying to claim that P is greater than 0.5. So the null hypothesis will be P equals 0.5. Okay, so that is how you set up your null and alternative hypotheses, and that is always the first step in a hypothesis test. So you're going to, so when you encounter these, you're going to run into a question that'll say something like, a restaurant claims their mean wait time is less than 20 minutes. They collect a sample, they get a sample mean of 18 minutes and with a standard deviation of 2 minutes. Can they support their claim? So again, the idea is you want to be able to read that question and pick out or form your hypotheses from what they tell you. So that's always the first step in a hypothesis test.